Hi, this is going to be a walkthrough of how to configure our RSP, specifically the layer 3 version for routing. I have a specific application that I've been asked to fulfill, and we're looking at either utilizing the Eagle 30 or the RSP layer 3. So in particular, this one is going to be focused on the RSP configuration. Please refer to the Eagle 2030, the multi-port Eagle 2030 that we have configuration as a separate video that I've uploaded. So in this case, what I've got the the RSP. This particular model is the RSP 35, I believe that I have. It is a layer 3, which is going to facilitate me to do this routing. This application here is for a pipeline valve monitoring. So we've got a SCADA pack here, an RTU, we've got an HMI. The whole lot is powered what appears to be by some solar cells, so they have a 12 to 24 volt converter. And these two devices here then need to talk to either a cell modem, or if the cell modem is out, to talk to a satellite modem. So there are two wide area network connections on this in this control box. So the customer wants to have these individual subnets from the cell modem and the satellite modem to connect to the local subnet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this port here. This port is going to be configured as the routed interface for the 10.10.11 network. This one here is going to be configured as the routed interface for 10.10.12. This is going to be the satellite modem. And these two ports here are going to be configured as a routed interface for 192.168.1 network. Everything is on a 24-bit subnet mask. So that said, we're going to start off with a factory default managed switch. This again is going to be the RSP 35. I'm going to pull up High Discovery. High Discovery lets us find the switch and address it. And what I've also done is I've also connected two other devices. These two other devices allow me to ping them just to verify that I have the routed interfaces properly connected. So this is going to be my satellite modem. This one here is going to be my cellular modem. Again, they are on a .11 and .12 subnet respectively. And they're utilizing the default gateway, which is going to be the routed interface address that I need to assign for the specific ports. So for the sake of being able to manage an RSP, I'm going to give it an IP address in a range that I will be able to manage. So in this case, I've already given my network interface card an IP address of 10.10.10.99, and I'm going to give this a .2 address. And with this, what I'll be able to do is I can ping it, which means that I can now also talk to it. So I'm going to open up a web browser, and because the RSP utilizes the HTML5 interface, I'm going to be able to easily pull up any web browser to do this. So in this case, it's 10.10.10.2 IP address, and I'm going to go ahead and log into this. And default username is admin, default password is private, all lowercase. And here we see all of the various ports on that switch. I'm currently plugged into port 4 with my PC. I then have port 8 is my cellular modem, and port 10 should be my satellite modem. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and go into routing. We're going to go to global. I'm going to enable routing. And then we're going to go to routed interfaces. Go to configuration. And again, just to verify the ports that we're going to use ports 4, 8, and 10. Oh, sorry. We're going to use ports 8 and 10 for our modems, and then ports 9 and 11 for the local interfaces. So that said, let's go ahead and go to our configuration. So port 8 is going to be a 10.10.11.1, and this is going to be a 24-bit subnet mask. We are going to route this port. Going to apply it, and then we're going to do the same with this port. This port is going to be our 10.10.10.12 network. We also want routing for that. So we've set both of our ports up. Again, this is our cellular modem port. This is going to be our satellite modem. And the next thing that we then want to do is we want to take ports 9 and 11 and put these under a 192.168.1 network. So for this is we're going to use a wizard. The wizard is going to allow us to set up a VLAN router interface. We can give this any value. It has to be a numerical value aside from VLAN ID 1. And because we're dealing with, we're calling it VLAN, or the IP address for this is 192.168. We're just going to use VLAN ID for 192 just because it does make coincides with the subnet. And for this, we can call this our local. You can also give it a numerical number. It really doesn't matter. And we're then going to take those two ports, ports 9 and ports 11, and we're going to make them a member of those ports. We're also going to untag them, and we're going to give them the VLAN ID of 192. And the address for those ports is going to be 192.168.1.1 on a 24-bit subnet mask. And with that, we're done. We're going to go ahead and delete the ports in the other VLANs. This means that if anyone is in those on those ports, that they're not going to have access to, for example, the other VLAN, which then would be the management VLAN. So we're going to go ahead and say yes, that we are going to go ahead and delete them. So it's added this this VLAN over here in the routed interface or routing interface. I'm going to do a quick refresh just to make sure that everything did stick. Forgot to add the routing over here. May have forgotten to hit set at the end. So we have 10.10.11.1, 10.10.12.1, 24-bit subnet masks, 192.168.1.1. Okay, this all looks correct. And what we're then going to do is we're then also going to take a quick look into switching under switching VLANs. And we can then look at the configuration. We should see this VLAN 192 automatically appear here. This is thankfully through the wizard that this is then in here. And we then see that these two ports here are being untagged. We then also should see 192 being assigned respectively to these ports. So with that said, everything should then be able to talk amongst each other. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my network card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to change the IP address of my port, and instead of a 10.10.10.99, I'm going to become a 192.168.1.99, and because routing's involved and I'm going to be pinging an external address, I also need to put in the gateway address, and this is the same IP address as the routed interface. And because I cannot have more than one gateway on my PC, so my Wi-Fi has its own gateway, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to disable my Wi-Fi so that it knows where to communicate or send that traffic to. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I am going to move my current port. That current port is plugged into port 4. This is my laptop, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it join this VLAN or this VLAN routed interface that is then going to be able to hopefully ping this or this device. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open up a command prompt. It's saying the device here is unreachable because I'm now in a different IP address. We can actually go ahead and close that. And just to verify that I can ping my local interface that I'm currently connected to on the RSP, so I can ping the 1.1, and I should then also be able to ping the 10.10.11.1, and lastly I should then also be able to ping the 10.10.12.1. So as you can see, I can ping all three subnets or devices within all three subnets. I can ping the routed interfaces, and I can then obviously also through them connect to the respective end devices. Whoops. There. So, success. Everything is working. All the devices at this point in time should be able to talk amongst each other. The last few steps that would need to be done is that we now go back into the management of the switch and go ahead and save the configuration as well. So everything, all the changes that we've made up to this point are all in volatile memory, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save those changes from volatile memory to non-volatile memory so that the settings are going to be persistent and survive a power cycle. So I've gone ahead and changed my IP address back into a 10.10.10 network, and I'm going to go ahead and plug into the other two ports that I still had set, or the other 4 ports that I still had set up. And what we're seeing here is I'm currently plugged back into this port right here. So we now have management access again, and what I'm going to do is, let me open up a web browser again, and we're going to go 10.10.10.2, admin, private, all in lowercase, and at this point what we're going to do is we're going to go into load save, and from load save we're then going to go ahead and save the configuration. You'll notice that the there's a floppy disk that is flashing. This is indicating that the non-volatile memory is currently not synced to the running config. This just means that we need to save it, or during a power cycle we would lose it. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save this. And as soon as we do, the USB floppy disk will stop flashing, indicating that we have that there are no changes that have not been saved to the non-volatile memory. So at this point, aside from going in and doing some housekeeping, like looking at the various alarms, so it's showing here that we've got some default passwords that are still in use. We have some unsecured protocols. We're running HTTP as opposed to HTTPS. We have Telnet that's still active. So these are all features that we would then want to address on an as-needed basis, or simply override the alarms, acknowledging that we do want to keep these. But at this point in time, the switch is done. We can now log out, and I hope that this has been useful and beneficial for your needs. If there's anything that we can do for you, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to your local field application engineer. Thank you.